What's going on, everybody? We finally got word on PlayStation's Game Pass competitor. An unfortunate update on the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And E3 2022 is officially dead. This is Busy Sticks, the Geek vs. All Gaming talk show. I'm Josiah Leroy. With me today, Mr. Disruptoid himself, rocking a beautiful, beautiful new hoodie there. Look at that for
Dude,
26 shirts.
Isn't this awesome? I mean, this is like one of my favorites. I mean, it's 26 shirts. Like, obviously, if you watch our shows, we sing their praises all the time. They're local here to Buffalo. They make some awesome stuff. But like, this is my number one. I bought this in the hoodie and the T-shirt. I really did, because like this, obviously, this is a play on the Nintendo logo. I have the Nintendo hat. I have a water bottle that I don't have with me for the first time ever for some reason, that matches this. And I also have this like same actual shirt that has a Nintendo logo on it from the New York store. So I'm like, that's my brand at this point. I just got to go all in with the Buffalo one.
Dude, it totally is. And they I mean, that red pops. They
It's really
nailed
good.
it. It's so pretty. The buffalo, perfect in the middle of it. Every time I say this, it's what the newest shirt comes out, and it's my new favorite 26 shirts. But this is one of my new favorites. Let me tell you, 26shirts.com. Go check them out. Amazing, amazing individuals.
Yeah, so Courtney's in chat. My wife, she's like, I really like the hoodie, and so did the people at Target tonight. We were at Target, and we got people were talking to us about Nintendo, and they were talking about the hoodie. But this is the one of the times where like the saturated red that you see on screen is like literally how this looks in person. Usually it doesn't translate well. Like you'll hold something up and the color's off on camera here, but it is really this red in person. It looks like just like this. It's really cool.
He's not lying, folks. It looks awesome. He's got it rocking right now. I've got a 26 shirt on as well. If you're watching, I've got my Buffalo Venom. I don't really care for Venom so much, but I just love this logo, for the kind of the Buffalo Bills crossover. Now, again, for 26 shirts, quick plug. Our friend Del Reed runs that over there. Pardon me. But every purchase, proceeds go to families, individuals, charities, all in need of your support. Check out the beneficiary stories again, right at 26shirts.com. Speaking of Venom, JT, man.
Good luck.
Our
to
buddy,
you.
He's at Morbius right now. Good luck, buddy. I'm very curious to hear his thoughts on the movie.
Something tells me he's gonna spin it. So like, it's good.
He's gonna love it.
It's fun. Yeah, I can't wait to just like. I hope he does. I legitimately hope he does. Like, I'm ready. I woke up today choosing violence, and I really do hope that he likes it, so I can just like trash it. I tweeted about carrot cake today because I love carrot cake, and we had some at work today. I got free carrot cake at work today. It was incredible, and it had cream cheese frosting. Perfect. I'm like, the second I hit tweet, I'm like, I know his dumb ass is gonna be in my freaking comments talking about they shouldn't even make carrot cake because he has like the palate of a 3-year-old. He's the worst food opinions. You ever see JT on the streets? Just kick him in the shin and tell him he doesn't know how to taste things.
They're really out there, to each their own, of course, but they're not common.
I love our different approaches. I say if you see him, kick him in the shin. You say to each their own.
Well, good cop, bad cop, Because let me tell you, there's going to come a time when I'm going to go after him for a Star Wars opinion, and I'm going to need you to play good cop there. So,
all right, we'll get there.
Okay, it's how it goes. Again, the Geek vs. All Gaming talk show. We're going to talk some video games today. Again, we've got some really nice topics on the way shortly. But, of course, before we talk about what's in our system, what's about to be in our system here, I'm going to kick us off, John. I didn't want to let this one go too much longer because you should drink it a little bit fresh. But I've got another froth here.
Oh.
And, OG Purple. So... boysenberry, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, double boysenberry fruited sour ale, 7%. I did not know if I would like this or not. I didn't have high expectations for the flavor. However, it is froth, and I love froth. This is another win for me. I'm going to pour it into my glass here. You're going to see just how purple this is.
I see the boysenberry. That's looking good. That's fun. Yeah, like you said, I mean, like even if they use a fruit that you don't traditionally like, I mean, it's so like sugary and like smoothie like that's like you're still gonna enjoy the beer for the most part.
Yeah, it is so good. Froth, again, local in Western New York. They just celebrated their 3rd anniversary, which is crazy to me. It feels like they've been around forever.
That is crazy. Yeah. Wow, I remember sitting there like at the brewery during their 1st anniversary. Did I ever tell you that I was there? So I took my dad to lunch there. Didn't even realize it was their first anniversary. We were there at like noon, and they were throwing like a first anniversary party later that night around like 8 o'clock. And I saw that they were going to be tapping this anniversary triple IPA, and I'm like, oh, I was just shooting the shit with the bartender. He happens to be a Yankees fan. My dad and I are both decked out in all of our Yankees gear, and I'm like, oh, that I can't, I'm excited for you guys to release that triple IPA later tonight. He goes, yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. He looks at us. He goes, you know what? I'm gonna keg it right now for you guys. I'm like, yes. So we were like the first people in Buffalo to try that beer because he kegged it early for us, just because we were sitting there and we were Yankees fans and we were excited about it. So
that's awesome, man. Super considerate, and that's a nice story.
Yeah,
sure.
they're good people. But keeping it local, this is not froth, but my beer today is from Beltline. Beltline is a brewery that I love, a place that we have to visit. A really, really cool spot. I think you'd have a good time there. So that's on our short list. This is Neptune's Nectar. This is my first one of this 4-pack, but I did have it on tap when I was at Moorpat last week with my wife. Really, really cool beer. I wanted to see, if it holds up in the can, which I'm sure it does. It's an IPA. It's a New England style IPA. Waititi hops and Citra hops.
Waititi hops?
Yes.
Like Taika Waititi?
Basically.
Oh my gosh. I need it. So I almost picked that up today, which is really funny.
I think, well, you know what it is? It's Y-E-T. I added the T and probably because of Taika, but it's Y-E-T hops.
100%. That's our guy. Dude, awesome. That looks really good. I can't wait to try that myself.
Yep, it's a fun one.
Yeah, so if you are enjoying our video game / beer show, check us out on Untapped. We're throwing the links in the description on the podcast. John and I each have playlists going on there where you can see some of the beers that we've had. It's got info, ratings, you name it. But John, cheers, my man.
Cheers, dude. I'm glad you brought that up because I did actually update my list today. I added the last 3 beers that I missed.
I'm up to date. I think -1. So I got to go back and do my homework there a little bit. Show and tell. I just was like, nothing came to mind. So I went downstairs, kind of looked at my game case, and limited run games. One of my just favorite things in the last few years about video games. So if you don't know about them, they're taking off big time. They basically bring back old games, put them on modern consoles or cartridges, discs, whatever. So the thought is you can kind of continue to have that physical media. So for fans of physical media like I am, stuff I maybe want to display on my shelf, this is a company for me. And they've done a lot of Star Wars releases in the last few years. So I've got Bounty Hunter on PS4 with trophies, by the way. That was a PS2 game, so that's awesome. Racer Revenge. They did Jedi Outcast. At some point, I know they're going to be doing it. They're going to be doing the Knights of the Old Republic. So the one I got right here is maybe the coolest one to show off, but it's Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
That is awesome. I've seen that a few times, but that is so cool. Every time you show me that, I'm like, dude, what an awesome idea.
It's beautiful. It's so for the listeners, it's got the purple cartridge there. I've not popped this open. I don't want I don't have the heart to do it. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna play this game? Come on. I've never played the game, by the way. And it's in the kind of I want to say like 1997 era boxing. If you were into Star Wars action figures, and I was.
it's like an on card action figure. So if you've ever seen like an old Star Wars, obviously perfect example, but if you're into like wrestling figures, like it's an on card action figure box is basically how that thing. If you're an audio listener, come check this out. It's really cool. Come to YouTube and take a look. That's a cool looking game.
So what they also released in this batch, and when we say limited run, it's truly limited. They do a run of these based on pre-orders, very much like 26 shirts. You pre-order it, they do a batch, it's gone. You can't get it again. But in this batch, they also did the original Star Wars for NES. Really cool. The original Star Wars on Game Boy. Empire Strikes Back on NES. Empire Strikes Back on Game Boy. And then also Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the N64. Cartridge looks a little like this, but it's blue instead of purple. I know that's not popping totally on my camera how I want it to, but it's one of my favorite video game collectibles I have.
Is that like a translucent purple? Did you say that?
It is a translucent purple. I did
that's
not
really
say
cool.
It, but
that's super cool.
Really cool. Like that was just made in the last few years. You know, I love that stuff. Really cool.
Yeah, I love what limited run games does, man. Like even if it's not old stuff, they're also just like taking like indie darlings that were like just like digital only titles and funding them and giving them physical releases for people. Like I know they just did the Outer Wilds, which I have no reason to like want that game physically because I'm trying to give up physical media, but they have this awesome enamel pin set that came with it too. So I've been like looking on eBay and like, all right, anybody just want the game and trying to offload those pins? It's more expensive than the whole freaking game at this point. People know that that's what people want. The pin set's awesome, so keep my eye out, but they're expensive.
It's funny. There's like a few sites I check either every day or every other day. It's 26 shirts. Always looking at them. I'm looking at limited run games to see what announcements, what games they've got coming up. Because every few months they do a new Star Wars game. They're doing PS5 games now, by the way, which is freaking awesome. And then glass to mouth. Always looking for new designs for them because I don't have enough glassware apparently. But yeah, man, lots of fun stuff. It's, as we always say, good time to be a geek. What's in your system, John? I've been so light on gaming in the last week or so, but anything to update us on? Where are you with Horizon?
Yeah, so I'm a little light these last couple of days too, because I did just start a new job this week, so I haven't had as much time as I'd want to this week. But later in the last week and over the weekend, I played a ton of Horizon. So Horizon Forbidden West, I've always said like since this game came out, like it's something that I just need to be playing. I need to commit to it. I know it's a game for me. I really just need to commit, and like that hook's gonna get me. I'm gonna get caught, and it happened. I think it was like Friday night or something like that, and I played like. Yeah. All day. I just played all day. So I sunk a ton of hours in that game over the weekend, and I'm absolutely hooked. The story's finally got me. I'm like into the point where I'm enjoying the gameplay so much that I'm like, all right, I'm trying to find the best armor. I'm going talking to every merchant, trying to get better bows. Like I'm all in. That's what it usually takes for me. A little bit of time is like those RPG mechanics to click in for me. It's like, all right, do I care enough about this game to want to like build out those RPG branches and make my character better? Because like, do I care enough about the gameplay? I guess is the where that comes into play. And yeah, I'm totally there. So I think I'm probably, hour wise, I've probably put like 16, 17 hours into the game at this point. And I'm probably 2/3 done with the main quest. I don't know. Would you say that's accurate for where I told you I was like right before we head to the West?
Yeah, I think you're right about there. Yeah,
makes sense,
dude. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. It's funny I wouldn't say reversed roles, but I was telling Tim, I can't believe like I finished it when I did. I thought you guys were gonna blow past me with it, but it was some circumstances. I was able to find the time to do it, and it really gripped me. I just couldn't put it down. And yeah, you texted me on Friday or Saturday night, super late. I was already asleep.
Yeah,
and yeah, it had you, man. And I was like, yeah, there we go. This guy's got it
for sure.
But I'm continuing on my platinum trek with that game, so I'm kind of chipping away at it. I've got 5 or 6 more trophies since I ended, so I want to say I'm between 30 and 35, and there are 59 total. So running through that, really enjoying that. I have not played much of the original Breath of the Wilds, but when I have been enjoying it, onto my first Divine Beast right now, so that's fun. I'm also taking a very, very different approach from the first time I played this game, and I'm just, let's say, for just ease, if I went left when I started that game, I'm going right this time. Like, just couldn't be more opposite, and it's fun to almost get that different viewpoint, even though I never completed the game. So, yeah, definitely enjoying that a lot. That's it for my gaming plate. John, I cut you off. Did you have anything else going on?
Just that and a little bit of Fortnite still. I know that the Fortnite's been a big topic because they started this season off with no building, and that got a lot of people to play. They did add building back into the main mode, but they kept around the no building mode as a limited time mode. Not limited time, just an option. You can just boot in, you can do regular Fortnite, or you can do no building. So anyone who hopped in at the beginning of this season, because they're not a big fan of that mechanic, they can still enjoy the game. So I'm glad they did that, for sure.
At this time next week, if assuming we record around the same time, I can't wait to be talking about what I'm playing because, damn it, it's going to be Lego Star Wars, baby. Oh man, yeah, I can't wait.
There's some good stuff coming out. I'm like on the fence about the new Kirby game. People are really digging that. We were at Target today. I'm walking past and I'm like, man, I could really go for like a lighthearted, like addicting platforming Nintendo game right now, like just with the how creative they are with their platform and their levels. I'm like, man, I could really go for that on my Switch right now. So I might be picking up Kirby. I'm on the fence with that. I was telling Courtney I think she would like that game too.
Yeah.
And then this Friday we've got also MLB the Show is like that's coming to and that's a conundrum for me. I'm a huge baseball fan. I obviously the game's been on PlayStation for years and years and years, and now it's on Xbox, it's on Game Pass, but it's also coming to Switch. And I'm like, dang, do I honestly I don't care about the graphic quality. I don't care about the frame rate drop. Like just to have the game on handheld is like, oh, that's awesome. But how do I cope with the fact that I have it for free with Game Pass on Xbox? It's like, that's my conundrum. I don't care about the graphical trade-off with the Switch, but I do care about the fact that I already have access to it for my subscription.
That's how they get you, man.
I know.
I know. I love the idea of being able to play that on my Switch. I have been crying for a hockey game, most notably EA's NHL, in some way, shape, or form on Switch since it came out, and even back to Vita. I was like,
yes.
Give me NHL. There's not been an NHL handheld in ages, and I would play the hell out of it. Let me tell you.
So for the Vita, they did that for me. I got my wish. I mean, MLB The Show was the first party, obviously, Sony developed game, and they supported the Vita. So I got MLB The Show on the Vita, and man, that has to be my most played handheld game of all time. Between like the 3 releases they did, I think I only bought the first 2 of them because like the reviews literally said like MLB The Show 15 is the same game as 14 with the roster updates. I'm like, I couldn't do it for that, but between like 13 and 14, I think those were the 2. I played so much MLB The Show on Vita just because like just chipping away at a season. Back then. Yeah. Back then, the novelty of being able to turn your console off and have it be right where you left off, that wasn't a thing. Back in the Xbox 360, PS3 days, if you turn your console off, you have to restart your game. You have to relaunch your game. You have to save and come back. So the convenience of just being able to lock my Vita in the middle of a game, the 3rd inning, and come back to it, later in the night or the next day or whatever, that was unheard of. So that was really cool. So that I played so much MLB The Show that way.
Dude, I want to say MLB The Show 12 might have been the first one. Whatever.
You are right. You're definitely right.
That was one of the games I bought because that came out not too long after the Vita launched, and I played so much. That's probably the most played Vita game that I played ever. I sunk so much time into it. I started a season. I was loving life being able to take that on the go. And by the way, what an underrated thing that we take for granted now in terms of features. I can't tell you the last time that I saved and quit a game on my PS5 or Series X.
Right.
It's always rest mode. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that we did have that with the PS4 and Xbox One era, so we've been used to that for a while. But I mean, just a generation ago. I mean, it's not too far away ago. Not too long ago, where we dealing with the fact that like you shut your console off, the game's done. You have to relaunch it. You got to see the splash screens again. Got to load back into your campaign. Yeah, so often, I save and exit. I never do that. Never.
Right. Like, it was crazy. I think I saved Horizon just because I wanted to save before the final battle, just in case I needed to double down on the trophy.
I'm still paranoid about saving. I make sure, like, before I put my console in rest mode, I make sure I get to a save point for sure. I always do that. Like, I don't fully trust it because I've had issues before where you boot it up and all of a sudden, like, PlayStation's power outage maybe or something goes wrong. Actually, just the other day, I shut down my PS5, and as it was going into rest mode, the screen just went green. And then the PS5 just like shut itself off completely. Didn't give me the rest lights. The yellow went just straight off. I'm like, ugh. Either this thing's broken or it's just gonna yell at me that I turned it off the wrong way when it was its own fault.
Oh my gosh.
It was fine. It was totally fine. Yeah, it was scary, but it was totally fine. It just gave me the 3 loud beeps and told me that I did something wrong.
Yeah, your PlayStation will tell you for sure that this is not how you turned me off.
And you know what? It gets aggressive about it. Like it pulls the text up in like non-HD as if like something's really wrong. You can't even use the controller. There's like this prohibitory sign. It's like it puts on this dog and pony show. Like you just poured water on it or something. It's like,
dude, 100% right. I'm just laughing at JT's text right now.
Guilt tripping you.
He's texting us from the movie, which is great.
Oh my god, dude, that can't be. So far, this is great, is what he says. Get out of here, dude.
You're a liar. He's probably watching us.
He's trolling us. I can't wait to. Okay, that's another story.
I can't wait to talk to him. Who texted her in a movie? JT, come on.
Yeah, that's kind of unforgivable, but
someone's gonna kick you out, buddy. Yeah, well, anyway, that's what I was thinking. Every time I would stop Horizon, I put it in rest mode, and that was it. Gotta love it. These things that we have
You
just that
wouldn't
are
find a
everyday
campfire
features.
to save first before going to rest mode?
If I just did a major mission, like a story mission, yes. I did a lot of side content and just running around, and I
Dude,
most didn't.
wow. Even if I
Yeah.
if I played the game for like 15 minutes and all I did was pick up a bunch of sticks, I'm still finding a campfire to save before I put it in
And
rest mode.
so picking up like the firewood or the sticks basically, I don't think I did after the first 3 hours.
Oh, really?
Like I had so much. I did not pass anything without picking it up. But sticks, and I played 50 hours, by the way, 50. And I had so much in my stash. I was like, do I need to start replenishing? Oh my gosh, I have like 6,000 of it.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
it was
got a lot.
crazy.
I just do it out of habit right now. Like at this, I'll skip it for a while, and then all of a sudden I'll finish a couple of fights, and I'll be like, well, you know what? Rather than going to replenish, I'll just replenish what I have on me. I'll just pick a couple of sticks up.
And dude, you were so right about the animation thing. Why
Why?
does she need to have an animation to pick up something every time? Why can't it be like Breath of the Wild where I just run without breaking stride, pick my
Yes.
thing up?
It,
I hit a button. Not a big deal,
I,
but like,
I have
gosh.
another gripe about interactivity with that game too. It's like I go up to a character like an NPC and like say it's part of a main quest even, and I have to go talk to somebody. The area I have to get in to for triangle to pop up. I'm like, dude, well, just let me get the prompt. I have to walk in
It's like this.
circles.
Like you can't go here. You can't go. You have to be like.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect spot. And sometimes there's another NPC that's in the way, and I'm like, come
Yes.
on.
And then I just push the stick a little bit, and she just overruns it. I'm like, could you grow up? Let me just talk to this freaking person. Yeah, there's that's really the only gripe with the game is like just like things related to the triangle button. Like picking stuff up takes too long, and trying to interact with things is just campfires all the time too. I walk up to a campfire and I'm like, all right, I'm right next to you. Now I'm inside of you. Okay, where am I supposed to go to get the freaking prompt to save this game?
I'm literally Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar. Why are you not saving right now?
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, dude. I'll partially take back my save point. Anytime it was a new fire spot or campfire, I was always doing it because obviously then you can fast travel to it. It clears up the map in that little area a little bit.
Oh,
So
so you don't have to do that. You just have to walk near it. Once you get that pop up that says new campfire discovered, you have full access to it.
I thought you hit a quick save.
Mm-mm. Once it says new campfire discovered, once you get close enough to it, that's one of your campfires.
Well, lesson learned. But yeah. All right. There is actually one more game I've been playing. I just want to bring it up real quick. Tim and I did stream NHL earlier this week, and listen, I'm not great at video games. Okay, just let me have this. I kicked his ass. Okay, it was 7-2. I was the Panthers. He was the Avalanche. He accumulated 25 minutes in penalties. You're not going to win when you play like that. Like just get out of here. But anyway, Tim, looking forward to the rematch here on twitch.tv/thegeekiverse. Question of the week. Last week we asked video game related, but in TV in terms of media. Give us your spoiler-free review for the first episode of Halo on Paramount Plus. This one's from Bill Moffat. Bill Moffat, my cousin. I love this guy. He said, loved it from start to finish. Way better than expected. One strange thing for me was in the first 5 minutes, the characters all looked computer generated, but then the remainder of the episode was very obviously live action and well done. I watched the episode last week, and I overall, like I'm at like 7 out of 10. Yeah, I liked it. There was a lot to like. There were some questionable choices, maybe some of the CG here and there. The sound is beautiful. That sounds like Halo. You close your eyes, oh man, the weapons. There's a lot going on there. I've been such a huge proponent. If you go watch Star Wars Reviewed on our channel, when we get to Last Jedi, that's my dog Lindy. I am gonna let people have it when it comes to, hey, it's not your story. If you didn't like it, that's fine, but you weren't owed this, right? That was Rian Johnson's story. There's a little bit of that here where I'm like, I don't like that story choice. I don't like that you changed some of the Halo lore, but you know what? It's not my story. So let's forget what happened in the video games and just go right into what's going to happen in Paramount Plus. I'm again not going to spoil any of it, but overall liked it. Thought it was fine, pretty good, especially considering it's a video game thing, and we know the track record of video games in Hollywood. it's been mixed at best. So, John, hit me with your take. You and I are both big Halo fans. We've been playing these since we're kids.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think of this episode?
I'm similar to you. I think I'd probably be closer to that 6 out of 10 range, where it just feels like it's like this is okay. This is okay. There's nothing. I was almost gonna say there's nothing I didn't like about it. There's a bit I don't like about it. I turned this thing on. Courtney just put it in the chat, but I was gonna say bring it up anyways. I put it on. I'm like, okay, this Halo show's on. I'm not sure if you're gonna like it, but I'm gonna watch it. So feel free to stick around and watch if you want. But whatever. We're 10 minutes in. She goes, wait a minute, is this animated? And I'm like, no, this is supposed to be live action. She goes, like, okay, weird, because in her eyes, like the elites looked that bad. And I agree, like some of the CGI was really, really rough. So that's tough when you get a franchise like Halo, something that like it's built on space aliens. You hope those are treated with a little bit more care. Again, it's not the worst CGI I've seen. Some of the stuff in motion looked worse than the elites did, and there's some shots where the elites look fine. Overall, I think their design is interesting. It's like it's true to what the elites kind of are we get from the games, but it's It could have been a little better. Overall, I'm at the point where like, okay, I don't care about the story. Change the story all you want. I don't care. Put it on Earth. Make Master Chief like, I don't know, make him 5'3". I like do whatever you want. Change whatever you want. I'm not married to keep making Halo sacred and making sure you retell the story and I have zero ties to the source material. I don't care. All I will say is so far as like I'm just not really that intrigued and I'm not really that hooked with what they've given me yet. So we'll see. 6 out of 10 feels where I'm at.
That's a very fair assumption. Obviously, I'm pretty close to your assessment too. It sounds funny, but Master Chief looks great. Yes, that could have been messed up. He looks great. Some of the elites there, like you said, there could have been.
There's some weird like direction choices in the show too. It's like. Okay, this is not a spoiler. There's people shooting at the Covenant. That happens. The Covenant kind of invade this town, and there are like regular civilians that are just shooting their guns at the Covenant, and the bullets are just bouncing off. It's like, okay, interesting. Master Chief walks down with some kind of special gun apparently, and he can just one-shot them, and they're instantly affected. I'm just like, what? These are all guns. These are all guns with bullets. Why are they unloading clips on these elites, and they're just seemingly unfazed? Master Chief walks up, one shot, done. I'm just like, this is weird. This is just weird.
Yep. I struggled with immersion in this.
That's a good way to put it.
I think granted, I feel like anytime I watch something like this, I'm tired. So it's consistent. I'm always tired. But in this case, I struggled to pay attention a little bit. At times I was almost to the point, and this is dumb, but I was like, I should look at my phone. Oh man, I hate that.
No, it happens. It happens, and again, that says a lot about our attention span nowadays. But at the same time, it's like this is a Halo show. You and I should be enthralled about this, right? Like you and I are huge Halo fans, like we said.
I'm not doing it for Mando, right? Like
right, exactly.
Maybe some of the Boba Fett episodes that weren't Mando, but you know how it goes. I'll say I'm encouraged. Like I'm still optimistic.
Optimistic is exactly where I'm at too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. You and I talked pre-show about the budgets for some of these first seasons of shows like Moon Knight that just came out. In that a lot of times it's, hey, we're going to give you a good budget, but not a great budget because we want to see what happens. And then, of course, we talk about Mandalorian. That had a limited budget for such a big Star Wars property. Then it takes off. We get Baby Yoda, who becomes Grogu. And they sell so much merchandise, and it becomes the most iconic thing in Star Wars in the Disney era is Grogu and the Mando. Those are it. And Mando Season 2, through the roof, up that budget, right? So... Granted, we're one episode in. I'm not even talking about season 2 of a possible Halo season here, but it's just it's tough because if you don't get it right, you're definitely not getting season 2.
In episode 1 is where you kind of show off most of your budget. That's where you're supposed to kind of wow us, right? Like that happened in pilot, exactly. Obviously, it's a different landscape nowadays. Like they already made the whole season, but they did that in Mando specifically. I remember the first episode had a little extra pop. It wasn't until episode like 2 or 3 of Mando where it's like, okay, there are some budget restraints that I'm kind of seeing in these later episodes. They showed us all the good stuff in episode 1 because why wouldn't they? We talked about this earlier too. It's like, just because it's a property like Disney or Halo doesn't mean it gets an unlimited budget. It's still a TV show and it still has to make money. So there's just some obvious drawbacks when it comes to some of the CGI, and it's unfortunate, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a wait and see approach. Regardless, I'm going to watch week to week. Would love to hear your thoughts. Again, visit us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know your thoughts on Halo from Paramount Plus. This week's question, we want you to get involved. Give us your answers also at youtube.com/thegeekiverse. We're going to talk about a pretty big delay here. Not totally unsurprising, but it begs the question. I'm thinking about another big AAA game that is slated to come out this year. Will Bethesda's Starfield release as scheduled? Will Bethesda's Starfield release as scheduled, which is November 11th, 2022?
So
John, you want to save your answer for next week?
I mean, my answer is well documented. I think it's kind of a joke that we think Starfield's going to hit. Prove me wrong. I mean, I'm just at the point. Well, we'll talk about it more next week when other people give responses too. I'm sure we'll have some more to go on. I hard to believe for me. I'm just gonna even kind of pose the question another way. It's like the beginning of 2022. Were your 3 biggest hitters, Breath of the Wild, God of War Ragnarok, and Starfield? Are those probably safely? I mean, I know Elden Ring did well and like ended up having a lot more commercial and a lot more success than we thought it would. But I don't know if I would have put Elden Ring above any of those other 3. With Breath of the Wild, God of War Ragnarok, and Starfield.
That's difficult. Maybe Starfield. Maybe.
Right. Okay. I think that there's a chance that all 3 of those games don't make it. Now that we know that Breath of the Wild will
totally agree.
Yeah, so it's just it's funny, and then all of a sudden Elden Ring, the one that maybe wasn't in that conversation, maybe was on the bubble, is probably gonna run away with Game of the Year this year.
Even get down the list a little bit, and you get into Rocksteady's Suicide Squad there, like that. It was like, okay, you're telling us it's coming, it's not coming.
I had way more confidence in that game, but again, we talked about that last week. Really? Yeah, it's just the timeline. It to me, like it was one of 2 things. And again, I'm repeating last week, but if you didn't listen, it was one of 2 things. Either the game was so far along that it's ready because they've been working on something. What was it, 9 years since the last Batman game?
8, but yeah,
8 years, right? It'll be 9 by the time this comes out, but 8 years since the last Batman game. Either this thing is so ready and you've just been pulling it close to the chest because you want it to be great and you can't wait to show it to everybody. So like, yeah, it's definitely coming this fall, or something went wrong. You were working on some other games and things got scrapped, and all those rumors with maybe the Wonder Woman and the Superman, like maybe that stuff was true and you just that stuff got scrapped, and that's why this is so far behind. So I was more confident it was the former, where like they've been working on this game and it's pretty ready. So, but I was wrong. They delayed that too.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. It's an amazing kind of turn of events here. Even though it's you're on the fence, is it going to come? Is it not going to come? Very curious about Starfield because hey, that's Bethesda, that's Xbox, that's Microsoft now. That is Game Pass day one. What does that extra power do? If anything, you can't buy more time, right? You can only cram so much. So I'm very curious to see if that hits. That's going to be a storyline for me throughout the next few months.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be very interesting. Yeah, J-Mac mentions it. We haven't seen a trailer for Starfield since E3 of last year. We haven't seen anything else of Starfield, period. All we've gotten is like pretty wallpapers, and like there's a website you can go to that looks like a spaceship, but we don't know anything about the game. We know nothing about Starfield. We haven't seen anything about Starfield.
If I'm not mistaken, in the last week and a half, there was like a developer diary or something on it. Not that that's huge, but I'm just saying there was something.
Right, and that's my point. That's the kind of content we're getting. We're getting developer diaries where people are just speaking about the game in like these large these large phrases about the game. We still know nothing actually about it. They're just talking about the development of the game. I'm worried about it just based on what we've gotten. Again, could be that situation. Microsoft is just playing it close to the chest. Bethesda's just playing it close to the chest. This thing is so ready, and it's going to come out this fall, and it's going to wow us, and we're going to say, "Holy crap!" We've only actually seen this game for a few months, with trailers and gameplay, and it's here, and it's freaking awesome.
Tank, don't mess with my heart by saying Titanfall 3.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, so Tank and Chat talking about maybe Titanfall 3. I don't know if we'll see that, but
Apex, that's the future there, and then Respawn's they're buried in Jedi Fallen Order, I think. But
I mean,
dude,
two
if
other
you
Star Wars
told me
games.
Titanfall 3, yes. If you told me Titanfall 3 was coming, though, I would just drop about everything to
I
make
think the Star Wars first person shooter is what we get instead of Titanfall 3 for quite a bit. Tank mentions Titanfall 3 is part of an NVIDIA leak. There's a lot of stuff that was in that NVIDIA leak that was like almost proven to have just been like placeholder what if games. There's so much stuff that like we should have seen by now. That I remember that was a few years ago. There was like a list of NVIDIA Now games that were real games that like NVIDIA Now was testing, and then like these far-fetched future titles that were also on there. There was like BioShock 4 was on there. There's all this random stuff that like I think it eventually came out like they were literally just filling in line items to test this software. So I don't think that's actually has any weight to it, in my opinion.
J-Mac also says, just to wrap up this point, I think they're worried because Starfield is the first Bethesda big game with Microsoft. Well, we've seen Microsoft is not afraid to delay things, right? Halo, we had quite the delay there. It ended up being a very good game. You can talk about the ongoing game as a service there, but I would not be surprised if Microsoft said, we got to wait. This has to kill. It's got to do well. So time will tell. Again, fascinating storyline. Let's get to the news here. We'll start off with the delay that we kind of had aforementioned there. The sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has been delayed. Not a huge surprise, but at the same time,
it is for me. It's a surprise for me. I'm kind of there like I was with the Rocksteady game, where it's like, man, I thought this was kind of ready. I thought that they didn't give us anything last year because they were so confident it was going to hit this year. I thought 2022 was going to be like the year of coverage for this game, and I really did think it was going to come out. I thought, it's a sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's kind of like a Majora's Mask situation over Ocarina of Time. They're using the same engine for the most part. Probably very similar overworld. I thought we would see this game this year, and I probably would have bet on that. I would have lost some money.
Well, you're not alone. A lot of people feel the same. For whatever reason, I've always been a skeptic of this. Even when this was first announced and they said, they kind of gave the tease that this was coming sooner rather than later without saying that. I've never felt that way. But hey, we're going to get it eventually, and it's fine. Take your time. There's no shortage of things to play while we wait for that. From Polygon, though, we'll just read a quick excerpt here. The Switch game is now expected sometime in spring 2023. And from the team that's working on the game, for those of you who have been looking forward to a release this year, we apologize. As previously announced, the adventure in this sequel will take place not just on the ground, as in the previous game, but also in the skies above. However, the expanded world goes beyond that, and there will be an even wider variety of features you can enjoy, including new encounters and gameplay elements. In order to make this game's experience something special, the entire development team is continuing to work diligently on this game, so please wait a while longer. It's fine. Perfectly reasonable.
Always fine. It's always fine. There's no reason to be upset about a game being delayed, other than just being bummed that you have to wait longer. Understandable, but to be actually upset about a delay is silly. It's obviously for the benefit of the game.
It's rooted in love, right? You're upset because you want to play the game, but you know what? Odds are, because it's being delayed, you're gonna get a better game.
I would much rather be talking about this story now than be talking about a story of Breath of the Wild Part 2 that was rushed and is a mess, just like a Cyberpunk or something like that. Where, man, there's people who were kind of in the inside of that Cyberpunk game, and they said this game needed 18 months to be like ready to be shipped. This game needed a year plus to be shipped. Like, that those are the stories we don't want to be talking about. And those are the games we don't want to be playing. So this is easy. I'll talk about this all day.
And honestly, with Cyberpunk, they did wait that amount of time to get it on PS5
right?
and Series X, right?
You do the math. That's like roughly how long it took to get the next gen version out, which arguably should have been the only version that existed, because that's the hardware was needed to power that game. Yeah, that was the timeline adds up.
It's sad because that actually was a pretty fine game. But hey,
I couldn't tell
you. the timing matters. I'll tell you that. Do you remember there's a little event that we used to really gush about? It was called E3.
Yeah, I do remember.
This again, it's not totally unsurprising, but it hurts all the same. From IGN, The ESA has shared an unofficial statement with IGN confirming E3 2022's cancellation and announcing that E3 will return in 2023 with a quote-unquote reinvigorated showcase. From ESA, we will devote all our energy and resources to delivering a revitalized physical and digital E3 experience next summer. Whether enjoyed from the show floor or your favorite devices, the 2023 showcase will bring the community, media, and industry back together in an all-new format and interactive experience. We look forward to presenting E3 to fans around the world live from LA in 2023. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know that this is ever coming back. However, I'm hopeful that it does, because as gamers, E3 is Christmas. It's the pinnacle of the year for a lot of these things. Now, in years past, we've gotten these state of plays from PlayStation, a lot of other events that have kind of filled in the gap, so to speak, and made life a little better. There's something just so special about E3, John.
There is. We've talked about it. I've written articles about it. Like E3 is special, but it's really only makes sense for the consumer. We are really the only ones getting a benefit out of E3 in this age where Sony can just do whatever they want. They can post a video. They can post a state of play on a random Tuesday, and Nintendo can tweet out that we're doing a direct on Monday at 9 a.m. and all of a sudden the internet's on fire, and that's the only thing we're talking about is Nintendo. They control the message, and they can do that 3, 4, 5 times a year. It doesn't make sense for these companies to rely on E3 to get their message across. At the end of the day, if it ever comes back in any semblance of the way we remember it, it's really just kind of going to be an homage to the fans. That's really what it's going to be. It's like, hey, we know you people love this. We know that the fans really enjoy getting all this news at once. So we'll save a couple of announcements for E3 and we'll do a showcase. And that's if there's a future, that's the one I see. It's maybe Sony, maybe Microsoft, maybe Nintendo, whoever. They save a few announcements. It's relatively smaller stuff, and they just give us a little bit, but. Yeah, I don't know if I see a future where E3 is half of the same, even close to what we have grown to love from it. But
John, you got out in front of it with that article a few years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it was on the wall. Yeah, and I'll miss you, E3. You can search it on the geekiverse.com. It's still there. So, it's unfortunate because it's just some of my favorite memories of doing Geekiverse content, from being a gamer, from these late night war rooms, we would call it, even going to the event for a few years with the media press or press access, so to speak. It's just, you're right. It's fan driven, but it's upsetting. However, if you think about it from a business standpoint, it definitely doesn't make sense. It's super not cost effective to have a presentation at E3. You control the messaging, like you said, John. PlayStation, Nintendo, they do these smaller presentations throughout the year. Every time there's a state of play, I clear my schedule for that 20 minutes and I watch it, because I'm like, oh, this reminds me a little bit of E3. It's a presentation, and that jazz is still there. But how cheap is that? You're throwing up a presentation on YouTube or
right.
Twitch, depending on where you go. It's just,
and I think
it probably won't ever come back.
Another huge part of that is like they do that when they're ready to talk about it. I think in the past you can watch I'll never forget the Halo 2 bonus disc that came with Halo 2. It was just like about the making of the game. There's like a half-hour segment about how they crunched just to get a vertical slice ready for E3. That like the development of that game was sidetracked so they can get a playable demo ready for E3, and that was part of the development. And now we're at the point where like, what are we doing that? What are we dedicating resources to show up at somebody else's show for? So I mean, it just doesn't make much sense logistically anymore. They've got the resources. The internet's here. They've got their own distribution. Again, it's a lot less fun for us, right? We don't get that. We don't get those couple of days of news, and we're talking about this stuff for hours, but it's sprinkled in throughout the year now.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. So we'll see what happens. I would bet that it does not happen next year, because they kind of said the same thing for 2022. But
I would bet that it does, but it's not what we want. Just like last year.
Hey, hope you're right then in this case. Kind of the main topic of the show here, we actually delayed recording Busy Sticks till later in the week because we knew this news was going to drop in some way, shape, or form. PlayStation Plus is getting an upgrade. Not totally a rebrand, but very interesting. We're getting a Game Pass competitor here. So from PlayStation's website, their official blog, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now come together. Players can choose from 3 flexible options. Since launching PlayStation Plus in 2010, SIE has been at the forefront of innovation with game subscription services. We were thrilled to be the first console membership service that included a refreshed library of games through PlayStation Plus and also launched the first console game streaming service with PlayStation Now. Today, we are pleased to share with you official news about changes coming to our subscription services. This June, we're bringing together PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now in an all-new PlayStation Plus subscription service that provides more choice to customers across 3 membership tiers globally. Our focus is on providing high-quality, curated content with a diverse portfolio of games. Below is an overview of the 3 membership tiers. So we've got PlayStation Plus Essential, we've got PlayStation Plus Extra, and we've got PlayStation Plus Premium, all at monthly, quarterly, or yearly rates. Interesting stuff here. John, hit me with your immediate reaction of some of the news here, the tiering, how this was delivered.
Yeah, so personally, I think it's what we expected. I think it's a little underwhelming if you're kind of looking for them to come out and be a true Game Pass competitor and to really give Xbox a run for their money with what Game Pass offers. It's underwhelming in that sense, but it was never going to be that. And it never needs to be that. This is everything Sony needs from this service. It really is. They've got the sales already. They've got the ecosystem. People already want to play on PlayStation. This service, these bundled games with this next level of PlayStation Plus, it's not for people to drop Game Pass and to start using this instead. It's for people who already own a PlayStation to have a little taste of that subscription service. I'm not canceling Game Pass to go use this PlayStation service. I probably won't even sign up for this next tier of PlayStation service, to be honest. I'm not getting my first party games with it for day and date. We knew that was going to be the case. Sony makes too much money, and their development cycle is built around that. Xbox had to really pivot their development, the way they develop games, to make it work for Game Pass. We haven't seen a lot of games come out of Xbox Studios since they've made that decision to launch with Game Pass. This is all Sony needed to. I mean, there's a lot of people underwhelmed. I think it's perfectly fine. It's a decent price, and you get a bunch of games with it, right? Like, what does that library look like? What do they say? Like over 300 or 400 titles with like the mid tier. I think is where most people are going to live. It's decently priced. It's $15 a month if you pay monthly, but it's like $80 a year or something like that. You have the pricing there.
Yeah, so it's $14.99 monthly, $99.99 yearly.
Right. So that's cheap. That comes down to what, $12 a month basically if you do the yearly model. That's cheaper than Game Pass. That's cheaper than Game Pass if you pay yearly. Yeah, it's interesting. I've got a few questions. I mean, I think it's no matter what, I think it's a good thing. You've got people who only own a PlayStation now have an option to just pay a little bit more than their current PlayStation Plus membership and just get a bunch of games. What does that catalog look like? We'll see. My question is, we already know that we're not going to get day and date PlayStation Studios games released, but are they going to make some deals with third parties? Because honestly, that's my favorite thing about Game Pass right now. All of a sudden, a new game comes out like a Tunic, and it's like, oh, that game looks sweet. It's out today. Like that's awesome. Oh crap, it's out on Game Pass today too. That's awesome. So is Sony going to do that? Are they going to make some deals to get some of those smaller, even bigger AAA games? Are there going to be any day and date releases? That's a question I have. And also, I know we're not going to get our God of Wars and our Horizons and our Uncharteds. Those are never going to come day and date. But I would be willing to bet that they do start to develop games specifically for the service. Yeah. Right. So they specifically, because they already talked about how they're going to get involved with games as a service and stuff like that. So again, they're saying, no, we're not going to bring our games day and date right now or in general, but I think that there's room for them to develop for that model, like Xbox is doing at the moment. So a lot of questions, but
I agree. I think it's underwhelming, if only for the sake that it's fine. Like, it's fine. It's a good, solid option for PlayStation console owners, whether it's PS5, PS4. But unless you were going to do first party stuff day and date, this was not going to be a direct.
Yeah.
Advantage.
What could you offer? I mean, what could you possibly offer?
Right. Exactly. So unless you were really cutting down the price, and that shouldn't happen. This is a very competitive pricing model. So you get Game Pass Ultimate at $25 a month?
15.
Am I over?
Yeah, it's 15. Yep. Okay. But with no yearly option. It's just 15.
So real quick breakdown of what the tiers look like. First one, PlayStation Plus Essential. If you have PlayStation Plus, that's what it is now. Nothing changes. You'll continue on, no problem. You get your downloadable games, your exclusive discounts, cloud storage, yada yada. Nothing crazy. $9.99 a month, 25 quarterly, $59.99 yearly. Wait till Black Friday. You'll always get a deal for 30 or 40 bucks for the entire year. PlayStation Plus Extra. So tier 2, you get all the essential plus a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable for play. I like that. Downloadable, that's great.
Yeah. They had to solidify that message, separate themselves from the kind of mess that was PlayStation Now.
Yes. That was a concern of mine. So kudos to Sony for making that happen. This pricing model, $14.99 monthly, $39.99 quarterly, or $99.99 yearly. So that's your Game Pass comparison right there without the first party day and date. However, there's some pretty sweet titles that will be available on this service that exist already. PlayStation Plus Premiums. So this is the top of the top here. Provides all the previous benefits. Adds up to 340 additional games. I don't know that this moves the needle for me, but for some people it will. Some of these games include PS3 games available via cloud streaming, a catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and download options from the original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP generations. That's pretty cool. Offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games. And time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier. The pricing, $17.99 monthly, $49.99 quarterly, $119.99 for the year. For me, selfishly, I think I'm probably sticking with that initial tier. And I love my PlayStation. I love my Xbox. I've traditionally leaned towards more Xbox gaming. This is the generation here in PS5 where I've been buying even a lot of my multi-platform games for PS5. A lot of my friends have it. I like the feel of the console, the interface, you name it. That's just kind of where I've been at. So I don't think I'm going to upgrade. And if I do, it's that mid-tier, probably at best, because I don't care about the backlog of games. I desperately love Game Pass so much. But guess what? I'm really not playing a lot of those games, minus what comes out like a Forza or a Halo. And you play those two games, that's your money's worth right there. That's my opinion.
For sure. I think we're going to get to a point where it's like, I don't know. I think it's going to very much be like having like a Netflix and a Hulu, where it's like, okay, I just have both these subscriptions because, like, if I ever want to play Batman Arkham, it's going to be on one of them. Or if I ever want to play BioShock the Collection, it's probably going to be on one of the two. I think that's what it's going to eventually be, where it's like one of these classic games, not even classic, like one of these like modern AAA games that I want to play, a Far Cry 5 or something like that. I remember like I wanted to play Far Cry 5 before 6 came out. I'm like, oh, it's got to be on Game Pass. It wasn't. Well, you know, in this scenario, it probably would have been on the PlayStation version. Like, there's always going to be something to play with these. Again, I think it might take a little bit of time before they're both like ubiquitous with all gamers. But I was off on the monthly pricing. I did some bad math there. The second tier, if you buy that yearly, it's only $8 a month. It breaks down $8 a month, and the top tier is only $12 a month if you buy that yearly. So that's cheaper than Game Pass. The top tier, which includes the streaming, includes the demos and stuff like that, that's cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate. So that's interesting to see Sony coming that way.
There is a caveat to that. Yes, Game Pass does not offer a yearly option, but they offer 3-month options, and when you get them on Black Friday, it actually equates to be like the same amount of money because you can get them at a huge discount.
Granted, you can get deals.
I'm not talking right now. It's March 2022, but you keep your eye out for it. John, I know you do that with your you've got the PS5 digital. You stack when you can, you know.
And I do have a question like related to that too. Another question I have from the service is like, hey, you and I and many others probably have at least a year saved up of PS Plus right now. What is it called? Can I upgrade that to the second tier, or am I like what's my option there?
I thought that immediately. So I'm actually I subscribed to PlayStation Plus kind of by accident through August of 2023.
Yeah.
I say by accident. I'm very blessed. I got a subscription card for Christmas for a year, but I also bought myself one that at a heavily discounted rate around Black Friday. So I stacked them, and that's a beautiful thing. However, with Xbox Game Pass, you could buy different tiers. You could buy like the original Xbox Live, and it was almost like currency. It would count as if you bought a regular 3-month Xbox Live, it was worth 1 month of Game Pass. Like
Oh,
there were different
I didn't even know that.
things. They translate. So there were hacks, so to say. You could buy like a year of Xbox Live, and it would either equate to 3 or 6 months of Game Pass Ultimate.
Right.
Like, just be on the lookout for it and Google it. It'll tell you how it breaks down. I'm curious to see if PlayStation does that.
They have to do something because there's a lot of people like us that have months and months and months stacked up. There has to be an upgrade path. Or what? We just can't use the service, or we have to pay twice. Like, there's got to be something. There has to be something. So I wonder what that is, because again, if that is the case, you look out for those lower tier PlayStation Plus deals, and then you upgrade, and then maybe it's even cheaper. So we'll have to look out for it. J Mac in chat asked a great question. Do you think these subscription services will become more of a way for indie developers to get their games out there? J Mac, I think that is already the case. I think that is absolutely what Xbox Game Pass has become. It is. There are so many random little indie games that I have played just because of Game Pass, whether it be like an Outer Wilds or something like Tunic, games that can really be showcased because like they don't really need that much of a marketing budget. They just need to be on the front page, or just in the little news blog that says, hey, coming to Game Pass this week, right? And that's enough for people who are subscribed to Game Pass. Like, what the heck is that? That game, that's part of my subscription. What the heck is that? So I think it's huge, and I really hope that Sony doubles down the same way Microsoft has, and caters to that. And again, I really want to see those day and date releases, just those fun little surprises, those tunics, those random games that are just like, I just heard about this game today. It comes out today, and crap, it's part of my subscription service. Yes, I'm going to check it out. I hope Sony adds stuff like that, because then that service is worth my money.
Yes. There was a while where PlayStation kind of had shifted a little bit on the indies, and I think it's kind of back in Xbox's backyard, so to speak, with what they've been doing with Game Pass. Like, they've been killing it, not just with those crazy AAA titles, and not just first party, but third party, but also the indies. Like, Tunic comes out, and I didn't know about the game. John's streaming it the day it comes out on my own freaking company, the Geekiverse. And I was like, oh, no shit. That is... I can go play that right now on my Xbox. Are you kidding me? Like, that kind of stuff is really what makes Game Pass special, I think, in addition to many other features. But even a game that I knew I should have played long ago, but didn't until it was on Game Pass, What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm like, oh my gosh, those kind of games are what I love to get into.
And honestly, like, we talk about how dope it is that Xbox first party games are there day and date, but I'll be honest, like, that is probably the least of the value that I get from Game Pass. Like, I'm sorry, Xbox is still not pumping out that many first party titles that I'm just clamoring for. They're really not. Like, Halo Infinite was really the one over the last 5-7 years where I've been like, I can't wait for that Xbox game. There are certain ones that I play. Sure, I love Forza Horizon and stuff like that, but none that I'm like, yes, I have Game Pass and I get this, and I've got my 5 Xbox exclusives this year that's gonna make Game Pass worth it. To me, it's those random, like we talked about, the Tunic pops up. It's the, I've heard a lot about this game. It's older. I wonder if it's on Game Pass.
Yes.
Search for it. It's there.
Sure.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Wars Fallen Order. Like, those are the games. Like, I played those games. I love them. Oh my god, what a fun excuse just to play them again. Like, that's really where Game Pass has its value for me, at least. And I think that Sony's PlayStation Plus Tier 2 has all of the makings to have that kind of same formula. So I think that it could end up being a little bit of an underrated move by Sony right here.
Can you see a future where Sony... So we got our games like Uncharted, Lost Legacy. We have Spider-Man Miles Morales. Can you see a future where like a shorter Horizon or a shorter God of War comes to that and it's day one?
If there's a future for that, it's far off. In my opinion, Sony puts a game on this service if they would have thought and entertained the idea of putting it free to play to begin with. So if something it's like because they've done this before, they've included certain games like day and date with PlayStation Plus, Destruction All Stars. There's a couple of them, I think. They've done it like 1 or 2 times where they're like, yeah, this game's just going to be on Plus. So I don't think we see a future. Yeah, Bugsnax. That wasn't well. That was just an indie that they didn't publish or produce that. That just was a deal. But stuff like that. I don't think there's anything close to that in the future where we're going to see them like actually developing these first party. Again, even if it's just the size of Lost Legacy or Miles Morales, I think you're more likely to see them kind of learn from what they got from that Bungie acquisition and do some live service games. And like, yep, this new whatever, I don't know what it is. It's a freaking snowboarding game, but it's free, but there's live service elements to it. I think that might be more likely.
Cool Borders 2022. Let's go, baby. So speaking of Xbox, we've been talking about PlayStation's announcement here. A rumor right now from WindowsCentral.com, a post over there over a possible Xbox Game Pass family plan. Rejoice, Xbox fans, for Microsoft is about to plug an annoying gap in its Xbox Game Pass service. I never felt like that was the thing, but that's just me. Xbox Game Pass is Microsoft's. I'm going to skip that portion. One glaring omission from Xbox Game Pass has been the lack of any sort of family plan, which would let you share access to the service among a household. I've heard about Microsoft's desire to create a family plan quite a while ago at this point, although there were a few details to work out about how royalties might be distributed. Interesting fact there. And how licenses from third-party publishers would be compensated for users who weren't attached to the main plan. According to trusted sources familiar with Microsoft's efforts, we can now confirm that Xbox is, in fact, moving ahead with an Xbox Game Pass family plan, which could be set to launch sometime this year. Now, interesting move here. I can see it happening. It sounds about right. The timing feels good. John, does this move the needle? Is there anything here of interest for you? Because, I mean, theoretically, you could split this among, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 players.
That's when it becomes of interest to me. If this is something that is not locked to a household, so the leaker here used the term household, so that's where I get worried about it. So yeah, if it comes out and it says it's this price and you can have 5 people and they can have their own Xbox Live gamer tags when they all get Game Pass, but whatever, it could be me, you, JT, Tank and Tim, and we all have for the same price. Of course, I'm excited for that. I do, my Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO, everything I have, I share with other people. We all have our own profile on that. We just split the login. So, absolutely, of course, I want to make that cheaper. I'm just worried that there's so much value in Xbox Game Pass, and it's already such a good deal that it really is probably going to be like household based. Like it has to be something where there's like, they're going to have caveats where there's a family organizer and you have to create like a family membership and you have to be in the same house or something like that. Like there's going to be something, I think. I don't think it's going to be as black and white as sharing a Netflix login, but I guess we'll see. I hope it's that way. Yeah,
I don't feel like it will be. They've always had kind of some parameters in place through the generations for different things on the 360, on the Xbox One. Can't see this being that good. It's just to be true.
It's too good to be true. That's exactly right. Like if again, unless the price is like barely cheaper, or maybe they're just absolutely nuts and they're fine with it. Maybe it's Xbox. At the end of the day, they Tank and chat on our last topic said that Sony doesn't have the FU money to be able to put their games out on Game Pass day one. Microsoft has the FU money to do anything they want. Literally anything they want, they could do. They have more money than any human in history of this world. They can do whatever they want. So do they just do that to make it more enticing? Maybe they do.
I would not be surprised either if that was the case, because man, Phil Spencer has been flexing in the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
We thought Disney was printing money. Xbox, Microsoft, they're doing that as well. So
Microsoft could buy Disney and just like put them in a corner. That doesn't even compare.
It's crazy to think. But hey, more competition. Again, good for the gamer. We'll see if that is in fact a thing. Hope to hear an announcement from that in the coming weeks, months. We'll see. Hope that rumor is right.
Just to put this in perspective, Microsoft buying Disney would be less of an impact for Microsoft than Disney buying Star Wars. That would be a smaller purchase for Microsoft than that was for Disney.
Well, think of the cost of some of these acquisitions here, right? Bethesda's parent studio that I'm forgetting, ZeniMax.
Yeah, ZeniMax.
$7.5 billion. Star Wars was sold for $4 billion, which blows my mind. I'm like, George, just go get some more money, man.
Seriously.
And then the Activision stuff is tenfold. It's unreal. Like Star Wars is small potatoes at this point. How about Marvel? Pennies on the dollar for even Star Wars. Like,
oh yeah,
crazy stuff that we're seeing in the last decade now. But
Yeah,
Damn.
so we're talking 2.5 trillion market capital for Microsoft. I mean, like these companies we're talking about who just do this entertainment stuff, they're not even in the same ballpark. Like your Microsofts, your Apples, your Amazons. Like there's some reason to be scared of what Microsoft can do in this market if they really get a little crazy. Luckily, Phil Spencer's at the helm, and I think we feel pretty good about his direction.
It's how I've always felt about certain companies. Disney may be one of them, but yeah, it feels like they've got the right guy in charge with Phil Spencer. Of course, we'll never know what really goes on, but it's been going well, it seems like. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yep.
Love to hear your reactions in the community, whether you're watching live at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse or watching in rewind at youtube.com/thegeekiverse. And of course, listening on podcast services around the globe. We're going to wrap up this episode of Busy Sticks for the week of March 31st, 2022. John, social media has been fun for us lately, and social media that we're not, it's new to the Geekiverse a little bit here. Obviously, we're doing what we're doing on Twitch, but you, me, and Tim had a freaking awesome night last night, and you can catch some of what went on TikTok.
You sure can, yeah. So head on over to our TikTok. It's just at the Geekiverse. It's one of the ones we got our actual name. We were in the ground floor there with TikTok. So at the Geekiverse, we're having so much fun. We're doing a lot of these guest characters. You may have seen like sports ones. We're doing Star Wars. We're doing MCU. We're doing it at breweries. We're doing it at Sabres games. Our newest one, we're hanging out at the Sabres game. Literally, they're about to drop the puck in the third period. Like it's like a 2-2 game. There's the puck's in the offensive zone. And we're sitting there like, all right, let's get this in. Let's get this in. And,
third period, 10 minutes left.
Yeah, and we're like, all right, let's get this in right now. It was so much fun. Those videos they've been a blast. So yeah, follow us on TikTok. Give us some recommendations. Pop it in the TikTok comments. Let us know like what characters you want us to do. People seem to like them. That's what I'll say.
Dude, and I gotta say, a quick shout out to John, because John has been killing it on TikTok. If you don't follow just the Geekiverse, check out his personal profile, because
that's fun.
Damn, son. John, share your milestone.
Oh, I had a million on a view. I don't think I have a million of any. Have I been alive for a million seconds? I don't even know. I think this is the first million I've done of anything in my freaking life. But yeah, I had a TikTok video hit a million views. It was insane.
Elite TikToker, 100% Josh Gav. Also, Mr. Algorithm from Tim Tales. Yeah, it's because you follow 69 people. Damn it. Nice job.
That is true. I never let that. If I find somebody new on TikTok, I have to unfollow somebody else, because one day I just realized that the people that I follow, that count was at 69. I'm like, well, this is never going to change.
It's so good. John's bragging up a storm. I'm like, well, that's the algorithm, man. You figured it out. So yeah, kudos to you for making this fun, especially on TikTok. We're gonna keep doing the MCU and Star Wars characters. I'm sure we'll get into other stuff too, but gotta check it out. And then also, if you want to follow John, he is at Disruptoid on social media. I know he's got a fancy thing from our buddy Kyle. Look at that if you're watching the video stream here. Good stuff, Disruptoid. I am Brosaya. You can follow me there on social media. In addition to what we've seen on TikTok, you can check us out, as you may be doing right now, at twitch.tv/thegeekiverse. You know why? Because we stream all of our shows live, and damn, has it been so much fun trying to build this small community with you. We've had a really, really good time in doing so early on here in 2022. If you're able to do so and wouldn't mind doing, you can help us out at patreon.com/thegeekiverse for a few bucks a month. It really goes a long way for us in pumping our money into production here to continue doing what we do and bringing you the live content that you hopefully love as much as we do. Also, you can check out, as JMac did, our merch store. Go to thegeekiverse.storeenvy.com. We've got over 20 designs there, from Geekiverse merch to MCU and Star Wars based stuff. Pick out a shirt, and hey, like I said, as JMac did, we appreciate you, man. Make it happen.
We promise we won't forget to ship it to you.
We promise. We promise. We're back on board again. One more time. Thank you, JMac, for bringing it to my attention. Also, again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on any social media, wherever you listen to podcasts. Our friends over at 26shirts.com do some amazing stuff. Anytime you buy a shirt from them, proceeds go to a family in need, an individual in need, or a charity in need, oftentimes ill from various diseases. They've raised over $1.3 million that have gone directly to these individuals, charities, and families to date. 26shirts.com. Check them out. Our wonderful friend Del Reed. John, if you like Star Wars, check out a series where right now at this point in time, The Force Awakens is the #1 ranked Star Wars movie.
I don't think that's technically true anymore. I'm sorry.
No, we got 22 hours, don't we? We have some sort of period of time left before that poll is over, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
I thought it was today. Do we still have time left?
We have time. We have some sort of time left.
Josh, Josh Gav's in chat. I know you have no dog in this race. You do not care about Star Wars. Please go to our poll, Josh, and vote for The Force Awakens. I know you don't care. Just do it for me, please.
Yes. Do it for John. Damn it.
Thank you.
So
we need all go. Oh, please do Anna's account too.
If you wanted to check out a wonderful Star Wars reminiscent walkthrough, a rewatch of sorts, what can people check out?
So if you didn't realize what we're talking about, we do a show called Star Wars Reviewed. So we're watching through all the Star Wars movies. We finished the first 2 trilogies. We are now into the sequel trilogy. We just finished The Force Awakens. Spoilers: Josiah and I really love that movie. Episode 7 is up there for us when it comes to favorite Star Wars movies. And thus far, we both said it was our favorite, and it got to the top of the list. There's currently a poll going on right now to try to undo that because of Tim. He's the worst. I don't even. Why? Just let us have it. He's not letting us have it. There's a poll going on. If you're watching live, there's a few hours left. There's a day left. So if you see this, if you see this the day it posts, you can still, just don't. If you want Empire to win, just don't go there. Don't do it to us. Come on. You like Joe and I. You watch this podcast. You're here for us. Don't support Tim.
Watch the episode. I give my speech on Force Awakens and how much I love it, and at the end, how it should get there. Just put yourself in my shoes. One of your best friends in the world.
Basically, the disrespect.
It's a total cockblock, is what it is. It was horrible.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
It sucks. It really sucks. So
yeah, Josh Gibb, good on you also for saying we appreciate you, man. I've been enjoying. He says I've been enjoying the story of Star Wars told through your podcasts. I know I take too many notes. I'm sorry.
No, that's
John. Please block Tim Tales and give J Mac a warning. J Mac, I'm just kidding. I love you. He says Tim is the best. Tim is one of the best, but
he's at least top 4.
There's a little tension in our relationship. Talk about tension in the relationship. Derek Kramer, by the way, I don't know if he's watching. Probably not. He'll rewatch this, though. Derek, I've never questioned our friendship before you told me that John and I were in timeout for our stance on Force Awakens. So if you think that's bad, you wait for my stance on Last Jedi. So, also, we're doing an MCU review. You can check that out. We got through Endgame. Can't wait to get into Spider-Man content in the next episode of that. Last time, I'm going to plug it. You can check it out at the youtube.com/thegeekiverse. For John, everybody needs a John Fick in their life. I'm Josiah. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Busy Sticks. We'll catch you all next week. Have a wonderful weekend.